But it's gonna take more than you're capable of to make me get on my knees.
So we all know these sound effects, right? They are iconic for their own reasons and merit, but have you ever wondered how do these sound effects come to be? I mean, how do the producers of anime create a sound that match the corresponding anime scenes and their brand? Well, I'm going to try and explain that to you in this video the best that I can in my abilities, but before I do, please write in the comment section below the most iconic sound effects you can think of in an anime and why it resonates with you. For me, I'd say it's from JoJo Bizarre Adventures when Dion uses WARUDO. when he does it, I literally have watched the world compilation videos on YouTube, and the sound effect actually motivated me to create this video. There are many features in the anime industry that have always been questioned by countless of critics and even ourselves, because we've all wondered what actually plays a vital role towards creating a perfect anime. There are a lot of roles that are involved towards the production of numerous anime, for example the lighting and the mise-en-scène. Without it, we wouldn't be able to spot the very detailed aspects of the show, such as the shadows and the lens flare. Also, without lighting, we honestly wouldn't understand the direction of the anime. The same goes for this particular topic, and that is the background work behind anime sound effects. They literally make the anime come alive. Imagine having an anime without any sound effects.
Are you serious? This is torture. You're torturing me and everyone else watching. Wait.
Anyways, you guys get the point. The truth is, I'm sure some of you have seen or know what Foley is, right? Or maybe came across a viral video on YouTube that explains how massive Hollywood movies such as The Avengers or Infinity War create sound effects for every scene in production according to the scenes on screen. So as a result, the origin of most anime sound effects were actually altered and inspired from Hollywood and even some of the earlier Walt Disney cartoons. The likes of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck have a variation of sounds coming along with it, as its simple and clumsy movements had given off an impression to anime directors a while back. Although nowadays most anime seem to be rushed in order to meet its production deadline, we have to appreciate the fact that some at least consist of some interesting sound effects with good design, something which most people may not notice. Anime sound effects from the beginning always rely on pre-existing sound effects, which was usually taken from Hollywood or other companies which sell sound effects that they have created for money. A little context on the system behind Hollywood's, for example, is the use of live animals to perform effects for them. Anime productions usually don't go through the extent of using Foley techniques such as punching turkeys, using plungers for footsteps or brushes to emulate the forest, since they are rather expensive to do and have a session of it. A bit of history for you guys regarding anime is that the audio engineers were starting to be introduced in the anime industry during the early 70s, especially remastering the classic that is Astro Boy and making it even more of a hit by including a new taste of sound effects. The 70s sparked a new generation that would lead to sound production companies coming into light. One of the very first companies to get involved was Ishida Sound Production, which is now known as Fizz Sound Creation. Fizz Sound Creation Collection is actually the company that helped create sound for the most popular anime that you know, for instance Dragon Ball, Mobile Suit Gundam, One Piece and more. However, after a chain of events, acquiring sound effects gave them the flexibility to even open their own anime studio, so now they even produce in that way. Throughout each decade, anime has had a vast improvement. Maybe some of you disagree with this, but I'm talking mainly about in terms of production. It definitely has in some cases. It's more efficient than ever, and with this came upon the evolving of the sound effects, that's for sure. As I stated before, they were altered by using pre-existing sound effects. Nevertheless, the producers, they still have to use their own creativity in order to create these unique sounds that make them iconic, right? In the 80s, sound effects had a very different vibe, which is a pattern we're all familiar with, right? It's like the idea behind technology, as it will never stop evolving, unless there are maybe very severe circumstances. Listen to the sound design behind a revamped 80s intro of Astro Boy. As you guys may have noticed or probably wondering, the sound are more prominent and takes over the actual action, which was probably admired back then, but if it were to be reviewed by a modern viewer of this day and age, then there would be comments saying the sound effects were too harsh and didn't blend in with the scene. This sound effect easily makes Dio one of my favorite bad guys of all time just because of it. This iconic scene was inclusive of so many iconic sound effects such as the time stop, a bit of dubstep, we hear a loud tick-tock from a clock, some sound waves altercation that was slowed down. That is a prime example of altering pre-existing sound effects into something else. But the idea behind WARUDO is genius, because the Japanese understand by exclaiming English words and making it their own would eventually become a huge hit around the world. I think they knew this would become a meme. The exclamation of this simple word and changing the pitch, speed as well as mixing different sound effects would work perfectly, since it's already over exaggerated anime. That's what the point of the anime is, to be funny. One of JoJo Bizarre Adventure's key factors revolve around the use of sound effects, and by doing so in the way it does, it makes the anime even more entertaining.
You're making a Derek G to yourself, O'Doyle.
So alongside the world meme comes across another national treasure. That is none other than... That's right, Omae wa mou shinderu, the iconic meme which has a vast amount of sound effects for the anime Fist of the North Star. Omae wa mou shinderu fits well with any schoolyard fight highlight or other bloopers where one participant is suddenly and unexpectedly knocked out. And I don't know why, but it makes me laugh every single time. In YouTube remixes, the phrase is often paired with NANI as well as the sharp, high-pitched tone, and sometimes even glowing eyes. You're probably wondering, these sound effects didn't come from an anime, right? People made this meme up. Well, no, this was the actual sound design.
貴様の拳などかほどにも効かんわい。お前はもう死んでいる。何？もうは匠できれぶ。
The sharp noise you hear between the two characters before fully knocking him out was the creation behind putting a laser sound effect to a very high pitched decibel. And you see, it's not really rocket science behind these anime sound effects, it's just the way the sound designers put it to their advantage with the budget they have. Sound producers for anime essentially have to use their own creativity to depict the actions on screen, which the anime director or recording director must approve of and say, yeah, I like that stuff.
Oh, can I help you?
Yeah, I'm ready to order.
What do you have?
I'll take a...
お前は
What did you say?
お前はもう死んでいる。
Huh?
もうは匠できれぶ。
At the end of the day, what I'm trying to explain to you is that indeed a lot of anime have quite distinctive sounds that match their universe. However, most use several stock sound effects laid together in a creative way. It could be a whistle sped up, an alarm bell or a chain clatter, and a faint synth phaser sound in the background to make something unique such as this. That combination of sound then becomes the ownership of Fizz sound creation, for example, and is added to their library where they can use it for any other anime they may want to, or on the contrary, they may specifically state it won't be used for any other anime to make it a brand. Like for example, the instant transmission sound effect for Goku as an example. No one is going to associate that with anything else, they're going to think that is Goku and his technique.
I know. 3, 2, 1.
Anyway guys, as always, I hope you learned something new as usual, and maybe we can all appreciate the sound mixing or effects we hear in anime from now on. Be sure to comment below what anime sticks out to you. As I said, for me, it's JoJo Bizarre Adventures or Naruto or Dragon Ball Z. Anime like Dragon Ball, Naruto and One Piece and many have always consisted of their own unique sound effects that create a certain brand or iconic symbol to its universe. Each anime has their own vibe and we can tell. As always, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, follow me on Twitter if you'd like to, and I'll see you guys next time as always.